Welcome to another episode of In the Nude. Today I want to talk about self-worth. I know, it's super fun. Beneficially, you can know that I haven't met a person in my life that doesn't struggle with this in some kind of capacity. Let's first define self-worth, right? So there's different aspects of how we view ourselves. And self-worth is our innate value, just like being and existing as a person. It's not confidence, right? Confidence is built through taking action, right? You can become confident in a particular aspect of your life and have no confidence in another. Like you could be very confident at being a straight A student, but not confident in riding a bike. Or you could be confident in riding a bike or playing basketball, but not confident in how to talk to the opposite gender or the person you're interested in or whatever. So confidence is based in actions and adjusts and wanes and all that from your experience, from what you have shown up. And you can have tricks to this where you have overarching confidence because you have built yourself in a way where you're like, hey, if I could do that, I could do this. If I could do that, I can do this. And the more you push yourself to do things that you feel unsure of, the more your generic confidence builds. But that confidence has nothing to do with your worth, right? You can see this in people who are extremely arrogant about certain aspects of their life, but you can see that they're constantly judging other people or pushing other people down, which is a giant indicator they lack self-worth. So self-worth is the innate value you have as a human, no matter your actions, just existing. It's not something that fluctuates. It's not something that wanes. It's not something that your actions it is. In the same way that you exist, it is. Why people struggle with this is they don't usually experience their worth not changing based on their actions, right? Culturally, if you are not productive, you don't have value, right? In your family upbringing, it might have been like you being a good kid meant you got love or affection, and we equate someone else's reaction to us and what they're willing to offer us and relate to us as our worth. But those are two very different things. Worth is a innate quality of this, right? This is just like you breathe and it exists. It's kind of like how the body is made up of cells, and cells are made up of smaller particles. Like it factually, foundationally is, right? That you can talk about the system and how the body functions and talk specifically about the skeletal structure, or you can talk about how the cardiovascular structure works, and you can talk about how they interact with each other, but ultimately all of them still have cells, right? And whether you are not caring about the cells doesn't make them go away. Whether you're aware of the cells, it doesn't change that they are, okay? In that same sense, that's worth. But most of us have had experiences where we are not treated like we are, that there's a innate value. And when we have this lack of worth, why does it matter? Like, why does it matter if we have a lack of worth? Aside from like when you feel crappy as a result of it, it affects so many aspects of how we show up and healing in life. If you feel like you are not worthy of love, you're going to constantly put yourself in situations where you're not receiving love. And you're going to do so usually in the same patterns of trauma that you're used to, because our body naturally likes to go to what's known because it's a default, whether the default is good for us or not, right? But worth can also play a part in a world where you're healing, right? And you're learning how to love yourself better, but like you keep wanting your life to look a particular way, or you keep having these dreams and these thought processes on what you feel like you were intended to do, but none of it's coming to fruition. No matter how much you're working, no matter how much you're trying, no matter how much you're being, no matter how much you're flowing, it's not coming. When you do not think that you are worth receiving the thing, you can't have it. It's someone can't love you at a level of worth that you receive it when you do not think of yourself as worthy of that. You miss it. Like, you could have had somebody in your past, right? Say you got in this terrible toxic relationship, and they, obviously were like someone linked to how your mother treated you or your father treated you, right? But there was somebody in your past that was a healthy attachment person who had an interest in you, but you may have completely missed it because you didn't see yourself as valuable, or you dismissed the process because it wasn't known. This worth thing shows its head in like so many aspects of everyday life. Like if you stop and pay attention to the way people judge, or the way people tear down, or the way people boast about themselves, or compare themselves, or look at social media, or the way that they escape, like so much of what we do is either to try to make us feel better about how we feel about ourselves, our worth, or escape and numb how we don't feel about our worth. So having defined its impact and all that, what are some things you can actually do about increasing your worth, right? Whether you are an atheist, or you are a New Age person, or you are a Christian, or you are another person who believes, like a Muslim, who believes in a creator of some kind, or some collection of God people, or Buddhists, or whatever. Like, no matter how you view the world and the worldview you have, the fact that you have worth can be explored and integrated into your person in a lot of different ways. If you believe in a creator, like a God person who created the world, why do you think he created you? Like, eliminate all of the, like, your horrible, your bad things that happen with, like, people and how they talk about the Bible and Christianity and all that. But, like, literally, if you were worthless, why would he have, does God like wasting his time? Infinite being, does he like to just like throw it away willy-nilly? Why would he have taken the time to create you? Look at nature. Look at how all the systems work. Why would he have taken the time to be that precise with that and that precise with you if it didn't matter? In a world where you don't believe in God, have you ever looked into the science of what it actually takes to become like a human? Like the statistical likelihood of going from egg and sperm to human being. The statistical likelihood, despite it happening on a regular basis, is an active miracle. To go from that to being a full-grown person that is born and then lives to be the age you are watching this, it's statistically unlikely. The conglomeration of different features you have, personalities you have, just genetically, is completely unique. There is so much that they're constantly learning, constantly growing in their understanding of the human person. Why do you think there's so much precision? Why do you think there's so much to that? Why do you think you exist? If it takes that much to breathe, if it takes that much to actually be a person, there's weight to that. I have found the more that I look into nature and the tiniest things, like the gut microbiome and how that functions, or how it interrelates with like your brain chemistry and like you feeling depressed or happy, or like just literally bacteria inside of your digestive system, like the tiny microorganism that is inside of you, or looking at any type of small, minute detail in nature. It's something that helps me realize the foundation of worth, because if there's that much detail in something that small that's like a part of what I am, how much more unique and amazing is the rest of it? It is a gift that I take air into my body without even having to think about it, that my heart pumps without me having to even tell it to. Whether or not someone else acknowledges that for me, that isn't their job. That isn't on them. Yeah, it would be great. Sure. And for a lot of us who are in this process of healing, we've never had that before, but we get to do that for ourselves. And that is a beautiful gift that we get to give ourselves. We get to start exploring what helps us see our innate worth. And the more that we can find ourselves seeing that worth, and for me, a lot of that is seeing myself connected to the beauty of how nature flows and functions. It's another aspect of it for me is seeing how much I am not just this sack of bones and skin, right? This is my body, like it might be my bike or my bed. This is not me. This is just how I present myself. There's a level of like, there are meditations you can do where you have out of body meditations, and it's like separating the like conscious and like awareness of you from the physical person of you, because this physical person is just a aspect of how you show up. And that is another thing for me that innately speaks to worth, because there's this like this spirit, this otherness inside of you that is still you, that is you. But the more that we can invest in and follow things that help us seed ourselves into the knowledge of our worth, the more that learning to love ourselves becomes simpler. The compassion for others, compassion for ourselves, showing up as the type of energy and person and alignment you want to be, like all of it is interconnected, like the same as our body system. But worth is a foundational piece that allows for so much joy and so much peace in your life. It's worth exploring. It's worth investing in. It's worth, what if, okay, if this whole thing is making you feel really weird about it, because in your head, like, I am only worthy because I produce, and how can I have worth if I don't have anything that quantifies my worth? Even if you can't like wrap your head around it, even if you want to reject the idea, I have a simple thing I want to ask you. You've lived most of your life trying to vie for your worth. I'm going to go with you still haven't felt worthy. I'm going to go with it's still been a struggle. I'm going to go with it's gotten you where you are, and I'm glad for that, but you're wanting more. What if you suspend disbelief and just started interpreting your life like you were worth something that didn't matter if you produced, and didn't matter if you could get up or you had to be bedridden. It didn't matter if you didn't have something to offer. What if you just suspended disbelief and started living that way? Started putting that interpretation on. It's like two people can go through the exact same trauma, right? Like on paper, written out the same trauma. And both of them can have completely different viewpoints on it. One of them, it could be not traumatic for them, and one of them, it could be traumatic for them. By their personality, different aspects of how their brain function, history, family dynamics, you name it. The main difference between them is their perception of the event. Now that's impacted a whole bunch of different ways, but our perception of something makes a deep impact on our reality. If you have a great morning and you go out in the day and you're whistling and smiling and you start looking around and you're like, man, this is a great day, and you start seeing other people who are happy, you're seeing what you're expecting to get. When you get a car that you didn't own before, then all of a sudden you're seeing it. It's a reticular activating system saying that's important to you, so let's show you more of it. When you're pissed off and you've had a bad day and then people are cutting you off and they're being surly and what we decide, what we actively start filling our mind with, what we start listening to, what we start perceiving, what we decide about our world and how we view it makes a difference. So even if you are like, man, there's just so much I've been taught before, why not reject what hasn't worked? Why not try it? What's the worst that could happen? You see yourself as worthy even if you don't do stuff? Is it so bad if you don't get all the things on your to-do list done? If you just disassociated your worth from a clean house, having your kids be perfect, or bringing those cookies to class, or being that friend that has everything together, or the person at work who can always handle having more. What if you let it go? What if you were enough? Just as you are. What if it wasn't a lesson you had to learn? What if it wasn't a place you had to be? That might be a beautiful world. It might be something worth to try.